Do you think higher inflation / hyperinflation will come eventually? Well, actually, focus, yes, I do. I think we have already begun the hyperinflationary event. I think we are in the lull before the storm. And not eventually. I'm thinking soon, absolutely soon. For anybody, I know that the government and the central banks, and certainly Janet Yellen, I don't see a recession. Their job is to keep you calm and keep you in the system, but they know darn well, where you're getting this pullback from CPI is simply primarily because of energy. But I want you to keep this in mind. And that is, there is virtually no purchasing power left, and the central banks are fighting the inflation that they caused. So where do you go when there's no purchasing power left? And what do you do when the key tools that you have, you've already used up? So yes, and not too long down the road, I think we will certainly see higher inflation and we will see hyperinflation, which will then turn into hyperdeflation as we go to negative rates, which may sound crazy right now, but that is what lies in our future. They did a whole big long test on it. Didn't work very well, but what else do they have? And forced 3411, in a CBDC environment, how do you see the price of silver and gold being manipulated, especially when you may not be able to buy silver or gold? So that's a really good question, because we don't really know what is going to be used to justify creating the CBDCs. It could certainly be out of thin air, but as long as they can control the spot market, they can simply create the CBDCs and then sell those contracts and kind of manipulate it the same way that it's being manipulated now. But especially when you may not be able to buy silver or gold. Well, there's silver and gold, and then there's silver and gold. So I think it really depends on the kind. I could definitely see them, because what is gold and silver but competition for the CBDCs? Just like it's competition for the debt-based US dollar now. And so they have to artificially suppress it so you don't realize that the currency is failing. So I could see them restricting or certainly limiting the amount of gold and silver that you can buy in bullion form, but not in the collectible form. That's a different category, and you need to understand that. Not quite as concerned about silver, because silver is the secondary currency metal and straddles the world of manufacturing as well as the monetary metals. However, so they would manipulate the same way they do now. Just create a whole bunch of money out of thin air. See, I give Randy all of his exercise. But they create the money out of thin air, except that all they'll have to do is push a button, and then they can sell as much gold and silver as they want to. But I do see them having the ability to limit it by the CBDCs, because that's just a smart contract. That's easy peasy. And there's nobody that you can call and talk to either, by the way. And Scott Martin 1845 asks, to build trust, the trade currency will be fully redeemable in gold. Let us pray. Each country will have inflows and outflows. Backing a country's currency with gold is different. My prediction is the dollar is wound deeply into the world monetary system, and BRICS are diverse, not likely to get along for an extended period. The world is going to try to erase its massive debts quickly through hyperinflation. Absolutely zero value. We have to pay attention to what's happening in Zimbabwe. They're coming out with a first gold-backed CBDC. I don't believe that it's going to be redeemable at this point. So, a trade currency that's fully redeemable in gold, yes, I can definitely see that. I think that's a ways down the road, but yes, because when you know what they're doing to the currencies, I mean, right now they're all in the game together, and in the future they'll be still in the game. So that's a possibility. Each country will have inflows. Backing a currency with gold is different because they have to get rid of all of the debt. However, if they don't back the currency with gold, then once the population has lost confidence, it is almost impossible to get it back. They use gold as to back a currency to get the population to use it and trust the system again. So backing a currency with gold, frankly, for me, until it is redeemable for us, it's not over. And then eventually they'll start to eliminate it and reduce the backing, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I can see that. Now, Luop 2551 asks, why could they not just introduce a long-dated gold-backed bond that pays interest, which is actually what the BRICS are potentially talking about? Gold rises in price and all is good, gives trust to the debt, and pays interest. Well, the part of the bond, a bond is a debt instrument. That's the part that pays the interest. Gold doesn't have to pay interest because it's the safest single thing that you can do. So they could, and this is what the BRICS are talking about, and we will see what happens with it. I mean, if the BRICS do come out and do that, then yes, you're going to see that go all around the world. Whoever comes out with it first. But again, you know, we just have to pay attention and see. And why not hold gold yourself? Because this is one thing when people buy bonds, they buy these things, and they're getting a little bit of interest, even 7%. Say you're getting 7% interest. You're risking all of your principal for a lousy 7% interest. Why do they do that? So that doesn't make sense to me. I would still be having physical gold completely outside of the system, because how do you know that that gold is still in there? Unless you can convert that bond into the underlying gold. Other than that, they can say anything they want, don't they? And Mel Travers 6981 asks, is the SDR backed by anything? No. The SDR is a basket of debt-based currencies. So right now, what is it? The euro, the yen, the Swiss franc, the Chinese renminbi, and the Canadian dollar. Okay, that's what's in the SDR. But they have the right, the IMF can open up those doors and they can actually put every currency by percentage, but every currency in the world into the SDR. That's why for me, I believe that that's going to be the world reserve currency, because it's been around since '69. Everybody has a boatload of it. It's already integrated into the global financial system. So that easy as an umbrella, a global currency, which then could easily translate, since the local currency is already part of it, could easily translate into the local currency. But no, it's not backed by anything. No.